G'day buddies, Jackaroo Turo here, and on this channel I focus on Australian Aborigines, their languages, cultures, history, and so on. And this here is the third video where I talk about the names for compass points, cardinal directions in Pama-Nyungan languages in Australia. And today we are going to focus on languages of the Ngayarta subgroup of this family. The Ngayarta languages being spoken in the Pilbara region of northwestern Western Australia. Now, Professor Alan Dench has shown in an article that we can in fact not know if these languages constitute a genetic group or an aerial group with the information we have from the second half of the 1800s and going forward. They are certainly similar in a number of ways, but we cannot know then, are they a genetic group, are they similar because they all descend from a common proto-language? Or are they an aerial group? Are they similar because they have influenced each other over time? So, we cannot know. But anyway, we have 5 languages here, words from 5 languages on the board. The Ngayarta language, traditionally the northernmost language of the Pilbara region, that was spoken north of the Grey River. The Nyamal language being spoken south of the Grey River, and these two languages, at least, are clearly descended from one and the same proto-language. Then we have Marrngu, that was spoken a little bit southwest along the coast from Ngayarta, with one language in between. A little further south of Nyamal we have Marrngu, and I think that Ingebarndi was spoken in between Nyamal and Marrngu. And Panjima, southwest of Marrngu, with Nyabari in between. But it would seem that Marrngu and Nyabari are dialects of one and the same language. So let's say, for the sake of the argument, that these two languages were neighboring, just as these two languages further north were. But anyway, the information here comes from the Ngayarta and the Nyamal databases I have access to, and here the spelling conventions are used that we do use when spelling languages, indigenous languages, in northwestern Western Australia. The information here for these 3 languages comes from Tyndale 1974, and as I have said already, his transcription conventions leave a little bit to be desired. Nevertheless, we can clearly see that we have the same word for north here in 3 languages, Yaboro. In Ngayarta, we find this alternative word for north, Ganimbara. And 2 of the languages also have this word, Yabulba, which we find down here as the Nyamal word for west. And Nyamal is a bit of a special case here actually, and I will get back to that. Leaving Nyamal aside, you can see that when it comes to words for west, these three words are clearly related. And this one may be related to these three too. Ngara Wulyolo. Yes. If we move over to words for east, Ngara Iju is most likely a loan word. The question is from where? Otherwise, it's interesting to note that the southernmost languages here have the same word for east as have two of the Marrngu languages I talked about in the previous video, Nyangumada and Mangara. So they all have Gagara for east. And this is interesting because the only ones of these five languages that actually had a Marrngu language as a neighboring language were these two here, Ngara and Nyamal. So Paligu and Panjima did not have a Marrngu language as a neighboring language. Rather, the Marrngu languages come from further north of the area where these languages were spoken. So this is interesting here that they nevertheless have the same word for east. And when it comes to words for south, we have quite a lot of variation here in these five languages, as you can see. But going back to Nyamal, at first I thought that what is going on is that a switch has happened, so that the words for north and south have become the names for east and west instead. Because Yabulba, which in Nyamal means west, is, as we saw, used for north in a couple of these languages. And Jingalba, Nyamal for east, is south in other languages. Only in one language on the board, but it is a word for south found in other languages. Yes. Then I realized that what in fact has happened is that the terms for the cardinal directions, the names, have been pushed 90 degrees in Nyamal. So Wadalba here does not have a correspondence in any of the other languages here, but Yabulba, as we have noted, is north in other languages. Here, this word, which is south in Nyamal, is in fact the same as this one. And we have Jingalba for east, which then in other languages means south. So I guess the most interesting question we can ask here is why would they have pushed these terms 90 degrees, which is indeed what has happened? Well, I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows. If you have any good ideas about this, do write in the comments below. Yes, but I think this will be all for today. But as you know by now, I will be back. So, see you later.